5 figures huddled in the fading light. Sarah, Emily, Ben, Chris and Jake. Psychiatry students bound by curiosity and a touch of arrogance. They were drawn to the abandoned Cranbrook Mental Hospital, a place locals spoke of only in hushed whispers. Legends of unspeakable horrors clung to its decaying walls, and something more sinister lurking in the shadows.
Are we sure about this?
Emily's voice was barely a tremor in the stillness. Her unease was palpable. The others pretended not to notice. They joked about their upcoming exams, their voices a touch too loud, a nervous bravado. They had heard the stories, of course, patients driven mad by cruel experiments, doctors who vanished without a trace, whisperings of something dark and hungry, trapped within Cranbrook's walls, something monstrous waiting to be unleashed. But they were scientists, they told themselves. Logic would prevail. As they unloaded their backpacks, a chill wind swept across the grounds, carrying with it the scent of decay and a faint metallic tang that made them all shiver. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of blood orange and bruised purple, a fitting backdrop for their descent into darkness and the monsters that awaited them. The iron gates groaned open, a tortured metallic shriek that sent shivers down their spines. They stepped onto the grounds, swallowed by the growing shadows. The air grew heavy, thick with the weight of unseen eyes. The hospital loomed before them, a skeletal silhouette against the dying light. Windows stared down like vacant eyes. Vines, thick as pythons, snaked up the walls, choking the life out of the building. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the rustle of the wind and the frantic chirping of crickets.
This place is creepy,
Chris muttered, his usual bravado faltering. He tried to laugh it off, but the sound came out strained. They all felt it, the oppressive atmosphere pressing down on them, suffocating their courage. As they walked towards the main entrance, Sarah noticed something glinting in the grass, a small silver scalpel, tarnished with age. She picked it up, the metal cold and heavy in her hand. An unsettling feeling washed over her. She quickly dropped it, wiping her palm on her jeans as if trying to erase the touch. The air inside was stale, thick with the scent of dust and decay. The only light came from their flashlights, cutting through the oppressive darkness. They moved cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the silence.
Hello?
Ben called out, his voice echoing down the empty corridors. The sound seemed to hang in the air, long after it should have faded. There was no reply, only the echo of their own fear. As they ventured deeper into the hospital, they started to hear things. Faint whispers, just on the edge of hearing. The scrape of metal on metal. A low, guttural moan that seemed to come from the very walls themselves.
Did you hear that?
Emily whispered, her eyes wide with terror. The others exchanged uneasy glances. They tried to rationalize the sounds, to explain them away as their imaginations playing tricks on them. But deep down, a primal fear began to take root. They rounded a corner and stumbled into what had once been a ward. Rows of rusted beds lined the walls, stripped bare of mattresses. And then they saw them. Lurking in the shadows, grotesque figures shifted. Their forms were twisted and wrong, limbs contorted at unnatural angles. One had eyes that glowed an eerie red in the darkness. A collective gasp escaped their lips.
What are they?
Emily choked out. her voice barely a whisper. The figures moved closer, their movements jerky and unnatural. They were surrounded. Panic threatened to consume them. They were medical students, not ghost hunters. They had come here seeking answers, not monsters. But the rational part of their minds, the part that told them this was impossible, was quickly being drowned out by primal fear.